Morning and welcome back to Home Renovation Experts. Steve here on this lovely garden room build. You can see it's come along very nicely. For those who've been following, sorry about not being here last week. Half term, took it off. Lovely time, thank you very much for asking. But it is now Monday, we're back to it. So I've been out to a quote this morning, had a chat with my clients, so it's now time to finish my cup of coffee and crack on. And on the menu today is these bad boys. So we've got soffits, facia. So adds like grey going on. This stuff is actually from Wix. Really good price from there. I mean, geez, this stuff is so expensive, like just printing money from what is essentially very cheap, very flimsy plastic, but hang on, it's what we got. So how do you fit it and how do you fit it on your Todd? Because fitting fascia boards on your own is a bit of a pickle, to be say it very lightly. So what I do is, you can see I've got this one preps. So this one, you can see it's now cut from the end, runs all the way through, and I've got a cut over here so it lands halfway through a joist, so I've got a nice fixing because you don't want any floating edges on this stuff because it is so sort of flexible. I use these little jacks which I used the other day for the, what is this for? The supporting the roof when I put the RSJ in. So these just hold it up in place, takes a minute to get it in there. What I also do is just to make sure is that this is obviously butted up against my batten, which is at the back across there. I then take a measurement from the front edge of here to the front of the porch area, just to make sure this is exactly the ideal. It's at 44 centimeters both ends, which is perfect, so I know it's going to run level and smooth, because obviously if it's slightly out I could have pulled this forward or backwards to adjust it so that it runs straight. But it's gorgeous, which is very nice. These things give them screw fix. I think back in the day there was about, I want to say it's like 65 quid for the pair, so I've got like two lots, which is fantastic. I've got one sat there just wishing it had been used. It wasn't its time today, I can't help that. So what I'm going to do now is I have got my drill, because the way you fix these is with the finished nails. Let's come down here and I'll show you. Tiny little drill bit on the end, so I'll pilot it first and then I'll put the polytop fixing nails in as well, so you just see colour match the faces and soffits, so it all looks beautiful and gorgeous. And I'll show you how to position that and do that right now. So I'll show you how to put this up. But it's really, I wanted to do a more detailed video, but I don't know, you can sort of see it sort of slopes in that direction. There's a lot of higgledy-piggledy, so trying to get out there and do this myself, even using the props and stuff, I'm basically hanging off this like a monkey, which actually works quite nicely because you can kind of do it. But you can imagine I need to now hammer and hold a pin in place and try and film at the same time. Now, I am talented, but even I draw a line at that. But you can see we're kind of coming along nicely. So you can see what I do is I put a pin in at the front and the back of each one, do it through the joist as well, which is obviously what you're going to do, because otherwise you're hitting thin air, so make sure you go for that. I always go to the centre of each panel, as you can see, it just looks neater, so all the pins run in a straight line, they're all through the centre of their respectable, whatever that word is, line, so they're all perfectly matched up beautifully. Now, I've got a joint there, I've got a joint down that end, and I will have people messaging me going, Steve, why don't you put the joint down one end, and then, you know, that's it, kind of done. The reason I didn't, twofold really. One is that it's always good to have an overlap between a bigger board and a joint board, just keeps everything straight and nice. The second thing is that what I want to do is, I've got some cover strips, follow me if you will, down here, which is just here. These are 45mm trims, so what I'll do is, I'll tack those onto both sides. So when you're looking at the building, you know that 45mm trim going across this side, here, the same on that side, and they're basically almost even. So as you look at the building, you won't have like a joint mark down one side, you'll have it across both, which will make it, in my mind, OCD kind of ish. It looks a bit neater. And on that point, you'll notice that on this joint, it's a floating edge, okay? It's on the board, but it's not tacked in. The reason I've done that is because when I put this bit of trim on here, if I hadn't put a nail there, there'd be no space to put my bloody trim. So I'd have buggered myself. I don't like that. So what I'll do is, it'll run next to these respective pulley heads all the way through, and that'll get glued on and tacked on as well. Same for the other side. So you can see it's sort of hanging down there, but it won't be once I kind of get that tacked through with my jointing bit. So that is why I've done it that way, overlapped and done a joint so it looks even down both sides, opposed to having one down one side, which looks a bit cack-handed. So there you go. Not complicated, but not easy to do sometimes, especially if you've got like slopes and dirt and bits of uneven surfaces. It makes life a bit harder. If it's on a flat surface, a pair of steps, you just whip across it, but it is what it is. So yeah, I'm gonna get that last little front bit cut now. Now, on talking of cutting, how am I cutting it? I'm using my beautiful circular saw. This thing has done this entire build, can you believe it? Quality piece of kit. Nice new blade, don't rush through it. If you push the blade through it fast, it'll chip it and it looks shit. I know we're going to cover the joints, but you still want to do a nice cut. I'm also making sure that every cut I do is squared off. So when I put my mark on, wherever that lies, I then put this on to make sure that line is straight. The reason I do that is because if I freeboard these a little bit, obviously this board will have a cut that's like off centre like that, which means then when I go to use this bit, this end is already cocked up. And again, I like to make my life simple and easier for myself. So that is why I do that. You can cut it by hand, no problem at all. This is a bit quicker. And yeah, but make sure you wear goggles and protection because it does splinter little bits of plastic occasionally. So yeah, lovely. Right, so I'm gonna get that front bit on and then move on to the side. So I'm gonna do a video, I think. Have I told you everything I need to tell you? And the answer is no, there is something else. So the other thing I haven't done is I haven't tacked that edge there. Now, the reason I haven't tacked that edge is because obviously the fascia board is gonna go over and it'll go around that front edge because it's got basically an L shape, so you can look at it like that. It's flat there, yeah, my thumb's really, and hook over it like that, okay? So again, if I put nails at the very end, it would then prevent my fascia board sitting nicely and flush on it. I will show you that a bit later on. But that's again why I haven't nailed that, because I actually be held in with a fascia and those nails will just get in my way and cause me an arseache again. Can't be bothered with that. So yeah, it's just pre-thinking about all these things and what you're doing. So there you go. Right, that is all the soffit bits and pieces. I think I need to turn until I think of something else. There you got it. Soffit on. All down the side. Job is a good one. Now, what you don't want to do is, at this point, is go ahead and put the trims across there, that 45mm. Do not do it. The reason why is because when you put the fascia board on, it'll have a little 25mm overlap and you won't know exactly where to cut this trim to until that's on. So, hold your horses, hold up. Wait till you've got the fascia on now and then go ahead and do those bits to finish it off. But you can see it looks very, very nice. And beautiful, just a tiny little one there. Oh, it's lovely. And that is it, that's me done for the day now. So I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a fascia day, which will be good. Quite first thing in the morning for another garden room, so that'll be good. And then yeah, take it from there. But either way, don't forget to subscribe, like, hit the bell icon, all those bits and pieces, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you later.